So you have made my job simpler, that it is not only that words are used to communicate to others, your body movements, your facial expression, your gestures, they all come into play when we try to communicate to others. And in day-to-day life, most of our waking time is spent on communication. May I know from the audience, what is it that how much time you spend on communication each day? Yes, anyone?
Most of the time we devote our time in communication, because every time we keep on talking or every time we keep on communicating with ourselves.
May I know your name, ma'am?
Ma'am, Ashu Tomar.
Ashu, can you please let me know roughly how much percentage of time you spend on communication each day?
I think around 90 to 95 in fact.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. In reality, when we said you cannot not communicate or you always communicate, that means all the 100% of our time actually goes to communication. And research in the area of communication found that 80% of your waking time is spent on communication, which is primarily interpersonal communication. Because in day-to-day life, we do not only communicate to others, we also try to communicate to ourselves. One is interpersonal communication, the other is intrapersonal communication. And 20% of the time, which is not indicated here, that actually is spent by the individual on himself or herself, when the individual is actually doing the personal course. He is not or she is not communicating to the outside world, but communicating to oneself. And to be effective communicator, we tend to have certain skills, because we try to communicate in different situations. When I say different situations, it is true, sometimes we speak one-to-one, or we try to communicate to one-to-one, or we try to communicate in small groups, sitting in the family, sitting with group of students, or maybe informally we are talking to our colleagues sitting in the staff room or in the office. At times we talk to large groups. You are addressing all the students in the civil engineering, or you are talking to all the students in the college, addressing them, you are speaking to large groups. It is also true, at times the people to whom we communicate, they are known to us. Sometimes they are friends, other times they are unknown people. They are the strangers. We don't have any idea about those people, the audience to whom we are talking to. At times, we exchange pleasant messages, and at other time, we exchange unpleasant messages. It is very easy to communicate a pleasant message, but it is rather difficult proposition to exchange unpleasant message, because you will try to think 100 times before you try to communicate, because you fail to find appropriate words. Your tonal quality changes when it is unpleasant message, and so on. You talk to superiors at workplace, you need to talk to your subordinates, and at times you talk to your colleagues. So these are some of the different situations in which we communicate. And when we are in the class size is normally larger than 30, and statistically that comes as a large group. Any number which is greater than 30 is considered to be a large group. So in the institutions, we are actually dealing with large classes, and thus everybody is not proficient to deal with various situations. Some of us feel very comfortable when we are talking one-to-one to another individual. Others, they are equally comfortable in different situations. That is, they are equally comfortable when they talk one-to-one, they talk in small group, or they have to address a large group of audience members. So, but many of us fail in all the different situations, and maybe we feel comfortable when we talk to friends, but it is difficult to talk to strangers. And when the mind is thinking, it is talking to itself. You will agree to me. And this is what we have said, that there are three different types of communication: intrapersonal, when you're talking to yourself; interpersonal, when you're talking to other individuals; personal, when you're talking to large audience, that is the director or the principal of the institute, addressing the whole faculty, staff and students of the institute. A personal communication doesn't have immediate feedback, and it is primarily one-way communication, and it doesn't involve much interaction. You can read the quote: not only to say the right thing in the right place, but far more difficult to leave unsaid the wrong thing at the tempting moment. We come across so many situations in life where the situation is volatile. It prompts us to react to the communication or react to the situation, and there is always reaction from our side. So it is very, very difficult to remain silent, to remain calm and relaxed in situations which demand immediate reaction to the process, to the phenomena, to the object, to the situation. So communication, actually, when it happens, there is always communication breakdown, or we enter into a conflict with the other person present in the situation. So it is very, very difficult to remain silent or calm under such situation. But a good communicator is always able to sail through these situations. And let's move on to that. For effective communication, we require 4 basic skills. And these skills are speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Just try to relate it to your classroom situation. When you are in the class, you are actually using this particular skill of speaking. You are listening to the students when they are posing questions, clarifying doubts. Before you enter the class, you read books, journals, other articles available related to your topic. Writing, you prepare notes, you prepare assignments, you prepare activity sheets, you write on the board. Writing comes on into play. So in nutshell, I can say a teacher requires all these 4 basic skills of speaking, listening, reading, and writing to be effective communicator. And research in the area of communication has also proved that higher the effectiveness of communication, greater are the chances that instructional objectives will be achieved. So in this context, we are going to interact on this very important aspect of classroom communication. And when I say these are 4 basic skills which are needed to be effective communicator, in day-to-day life also, we make use of these 4 basic skills. And that's why many of us think that we are good at all the 4 skills, but very rarely it happens that an individual has all the 4 basic skills. Some may be good speaker, others may be good listeners, one may be good reader, other may be good writer. But in reality, it is a rare combination that all the 4 skills are available with one particular individual. And all these 4 skills consumes the time which you spend on communication. May I know from the audience whether we speak more or listen more? Do we speak more or listen more? Yes?
Listening is more.
Okay. Any other center, College of Engineering, Indore? What is your response? Do we speak more or do we listen more?
Hello.
Anji, good
Yeah,
morning.
ma'am. We often listen more, ma'am.
Listen more. Okay, thank you very much. And what about JIT? Jaipur Institute?
We have to speak more.
Speak more. Okay. So thank you very much. I think I have got two responses. Two of the centers, they say we listen more and speak less. And JIT, I got a response that we speak more, listen less. Now, in reality, it is a myth that we speak more. We actually listen more, and 45% of the waking time we spent on communication goes to listening. 30% of your time goes to speaking, 16% to reading, and 9% to writing. But you can question me, is it true for all the individuals? No, it all depends upon the individual's job responsibilities and activities that an individual perform, which will determine how much time an individual will spend on each one of these skills. Let's take an example, starting with a software engineer. A software engineer is actually involved in reading and writing. A salesperson is involved more in speaking and listening. A PBX operator is involved more in listening and speaking. A teacher in the classroom, as the processes are going on, they speak more, listen less. However, the situation should be reversed. The teacher should listen more and speak less, because it is the learner who has to learn. So the learner needs to be given more opportunity to speak. Only then the greater learning can take place. But if it all depends upon the technology you use. When you are in a face-to-face situation, it is more of speaking and listening. But if you are using technology, you are using a mobile phone and you are sending SMS messages, then reading and writing is the skill which is used. If you are using internet, you are accustomed to using email, again reading and writing will be there. But for say, you are talking to your colleague in the office situation, you are not in a face-to-face situation, then maybe you are using the telephones to communicate to the other individual. In that case, again, speaking and listening will be more. So it depends upon the job responsibilities and activities a person takes up at workplace, that will determine how much time an individual will spend on each of these 4 skills. So in this presentation, I am going to focus on oral communication skills, which will include only 2 of these skills, and 2 of these skills will be speaking and listening. And when I talk in terms of speaking and listening, I have tried to structure the presentation. First, deal with the concept of communication, because it has been differently defined by many people, and there is common understanding that it is transfer of message, transfer of ideas, transfer of feelings. Then we'll move on to principles of effective speaking, and third thing which I'll try to cover, that is principle of effective listening. So coming to the very first, that is concept of communication, my question to the audience is, who's the mother? Can I get a response from College of Engineering, Indore? Anybody who would like to answer this question? Who's the mother? Yes? Please don't take so long. Give me the reply. Jay,
Hello.
Hanji, please.
Mother is one part of our parent. Okay,
Okay.
who produce child and care child and take care of all responsibility, pamper child.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
That's
Ma'am, I'm from JIT.
Okay.
Ma'am, mother is initial teacher of a baby
Okay.
and primary teacher we can say.
नाम बताइए बेटी में.
I'm Rachna Khandelwal from JIT.
Thank you. And College of Engineering. Any other member? Okay. Can I get a response from BIT?
Ma'am, a mother.
मैं आपसे कविता जी मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी give time to others also. Ask another member of the group to kindly respond to that.
I think listening is a mother over here.
Listening is mother. Okay. Now my question is, who is the mother?
Ma'am, the one who initiates or the one who gives the origin to something, that is mother.
Okay, okay. Broader meanings you have given to me. Thank you very much. Let's quickly look at that. When I say mother, many pleasant connotations are attached to the word mother. A person who is loving, who is affectionate, a person who is the first teacher of the child, the person who takes care of the child, person who understands the child without him or her saying anything, a person who nurtures the child. In this role, the role of the mother can be taken up by anyone. It may not be a female alone, but anybody who is loving, affectionate, first teacher, caring, nurturing can be related to as mother. But the real meaning of the word, as you have rightly said, is a person who gives birth to a child. Now, this particular role is a standard meaning, which is a biological process which cannot be performed by anyone else. And this is the standard meaning of the word. The other meaning is based upon the experience of an individual with that kind of individual. Say, for example, a child who has a mother who is punishing, criticizing, nagging, discouraging, always, then the child will attach all the negative connotations to the word mother. Similarly, when we interact with people and they use different words, we try to interpret those words and assign two different meanings. One is the standard meaning, another is the based upon our own experience with that kind of individual, object, phenomena, or process. And thus, when we talk in terms of communication, it is nothing but sharing of meanings. If both the standard meaning, which is referred to as denotative meaning, and the connotative meaning, that is meaning based on experience, these are the same as intended by the speaker of the message or sender of the message, then we say communication is effective. And communication is effective. So rather than defining communication as simply transfer of ideas, transfer of information, transfer of feeling, if we say communication is sharing of meanings, it conveys much better meaning. With this understanding of the concept of communication, let's now quickly move to principles of effective speaking. And it has been rightly said, words have no meaning, people have meaning. That means how I view a particular word, a symbol, that will lead to interpretation of that symbol. And thus the meaning varies from one individual to another individual based upon his or her experience. People speak with the vocal organs but communicate with the whole body. Now, in the very first instance, Kavita has given me that we don't only communicate through words, but we communicate through our facial expression, gestures, body movements, and thus it has been rightly said, when you communicate to others, it is the whole personality of the individual that comes into play. And the whole personality, it gets interpreted rather than simply the words which are being used by the individual. Well, we'll give you demonstration when we move on to the principles. And here, the effectiveness of communication is determined by the verbal content, that is up to 7%. In other words, it is said that words you use affect effectiveness of communication up to 7%, and your tonal quality, what you say, how you say it, that has an impact up to 38%. Now, say for example, when I say, I want a student to go to my office and bring the book, the wording is, Ramesh, can you go to the office and bring the book? Another way of saying the same thing is, Ramesh, can you go to the office and bring the book? Can you find the difference between the two statements? Yes? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. What is the difference?
Ma'am, one is the politer way and the another is a bit hard. One is the order and another is the request.
Thank you so much. One is the order and one is the request. When I am getting a personal work done, why I need to give order to the other individual? It can be a polite request which will be acceptable to the student or any other individual. But unnecessary use of the order can actually offend the person, and the person may develop a negative or unfavorable attitude towards the teacher, that unnecessary, why should I do it? And who is she to give me an order that I should go and bring the book from the office? So tonal quality, what you say, how you say it, has impact up to 38%. And in addition to that, non-verbal behavior has an impact up to 55%. Now, I would request all the audience members to lift the finger. Just bring the finger close to your face. Yes? Have you done it? Are you ready? Okay. Put your finger on your cheek. I think I can see BIT clearly, but this is the experience. This is the experience that action speak louder than the word. I have put my finger on my chin and I have said, put your finger on your cheek. And many of the audience members also did the same thing. That is, non-verbal behavior has greater impact upon the effectiveness of communication. You didn't pay attention to what I said, but you looked at me, what action I performed, you performed the same action. And thus it can be said that communication, verbal content is only the tip of the iceberg. The remaining iceberg is actually non-verbal communication. Now let's move on to the, this quote you can leave simply. We move on to principles of effective speaking. Let me have a quick question answer, like from, I'll request JIT to interact first. What do you think are some of the principles of effective communication? JIT? Yes, Jaipur Institute of Technology. Can I get the response? Hello.
Ma'am,
Okay. In the meantime, let's College of Engineering, Indore. Can I get a response?
hello.
Hanji, please.
Yeah, ma'am. First thing is that you should speak very clearly. Use
Okay.
simple words, so people can easily understand your words.
Okay.
And the voice or tone should be uh, normal.
Okay.
JIT, please wait for a minute.
Okay. May I know your name?
And you should not be mammal. You should not have mammal talk. Like your words should be very clear.
Okay. Okay. May I know your name, please?
Pradeep Rusia from Indore, Swami Vivekanand College of Engineering.
Thank you so much, sir. Uh, okay. May I know JIT, please, now? JIT, quickly.
Hello.
Hanji.
हाँ मैम, myself Rachna again.
Okay.
And I must say कि again you are right about that presenting your body language is the most important role play in our teaching, and except writing or listening, most important role is what is our body language says.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, can I come to Priya? You would like to throw light on what is it that make speaking effective?
Ma'am, it is the coordination between the verbal and non-verbal. Like the
Okay.
expressions, the gestures, and the words that you speak, they should
Okay.
correlate.
Fine. What
No.
else?
Even ma'am, accuracy, simplicity, clarity,
Okay.
consideration of receiver,
Fine.
cryonics, proxemics,
I think
linguistics.
who is there? Who is speaking? May I know the name, please?
Ma'am, Ashu Tomar.
Ashu, thank you very much. I think you have given me number of principles which need to be taken into account. So friend, I'm going to interact with you on these very principles because this is a topic which is of common interest to everyone. So let's go by one these principles. The very